Right now, the Basic Education Department and Road Traffic Management Corporation are planning to help pupils get driving licenses. It's understood that the agreement would include both classroom lessons and formal accreditation. Basic Education Department spokesperson Mhlanga joins us now to tell us more. Mr. Mhlanga, thank you very much for your time here on NewsLink. I believe this has been in the pipeline for quite some time now, in terms of the minister wanting to offer pupils to be able to get the driver's licenses, starting off with their learners' licenses. So how far is, the process of getting it underway?
Good morning, Maseko. Well, it's gaining momentum because this is just a small component of a bigger program that the department has focusing on skilling young people so that they're able to explore other opportunities beyond school. And this RTMC is one of the department that are helping us to achieve a whole range of training skills that we are bringing to young people in the country. So we have been working with them and discussing with them as part of the work that we do together with the Department of Transport.
How will this work logistically? Does it mean that there would have to be testing stations, for instance, or licensing stations at schools, like mobile ones?
No, it does not mean that. So already at the moment, on live orientation, the content is there on driving because it's part and parcel of what we want young people to be aware of. So what would be required is for RTMC to avail such information in a more formal way, where schools are used as writing centers for the age groups. Remember, it's not just for everyone. It's for those age groups that are required by law to be obtaining learners' licenses at the moment. Alternatively, we could arrange for them to go to the nearby centers where these are available. Because even with Home Affairs, for example, where we have partnerships such as this one, we arrange for young people to go to the nearest Home Affairs office. So even in this one, it will depend on where the young people are, but we're looking for a partnership that is going to assist us. The dynamics of the provinces are not the same. In some places, you've got licensing stations which are closer to schools. In other places, they are not very close. So you need to look at each circumstance and make a decision on that basis. But what we are appreciating is the openness and willingness of RTMC together with the Department of Transport to help us bring skills to young people. And we believe that driving is a skill that can help you as a young person beyond your schooling, because wherever you go, apart from being asked for your matric certificate, you are going to be asked if you have a driver's license or not. So we feel it's one important piece of document that all young people in the country must have. And as a system, if we can assist in making that possible for our young people, we are going to do that.
All right, Mr. Mhlanga, so I have you also, while I have you, I just want to talk to you about other issues pertaining to the Education Department. This week, I believe the department spent some time in a province such as Limpopo to assist and mitigate when it comes to, their matric exams and their matric results. Can you just share with us some of the interventions that the department has decided to embark on to assist that particular province?
Well, that's correct. The first thing that happened was that the Premier in the province, together with the MEC for Education in Limpopo, convened an education endeavor for the province of Limpopo to reflect, one, on its performance, but also two, to develop an improvement plan to assist that province to improve in terms of learning outcomes. So there was a gathering indeed on Thursday in Limpopo, in Polokwane, where various stakeholders gathered to look at all issues affecting the performance of the province. And at the end of the day, there was a declaration signed by all stakeholders committing to making that intervention plan successful. One of them is really going back to basics, making sure that teachers are in class every day teaching, and over and above that, using additional time to make sure that learning and teaching takes place, but also for the system to create a comfortable environment for teachers and learners to be in school, so that we see an improvement. But there's going to be support for districts as well, because it is the districts that are managing schools, and the district capacity was identified as one of the issues that need to be focused on, so that we provide the support and monitoring that districts need for them to be able to push schools to do what they're supposed to do, for them to register an improvement that we want to see. You know that Limpopo did not do that well in the 2021 matric examinations, but it doesn't start with matric. It was identified that challenges start much earlier, and focus will be on those earlier grades before grade 12.
I believe the MEC of Education there was telling you, as the department, that her concern is that there's so many taverns, for instance, that are close to school in some areas. This used to be a problem here in Gauteng as well. What will be happening to mitigate that? I know that people want to put food on the table, but to have a tavern close to school is also, basically causing pupils to be tempted, maybe.
Well, it's there everywhere. Even in Gauteng, you still have that challenge. And many places that we know, you find a tavern or some establishment that deals in alcohol. You also find that in many other provinces, Mhlanga, Northwest, all over the place. And these we have engaged the relevant authorities to say to them, before we license these establishments, let's check where they are, because if they are close to schools, then they are more likely to cause disruptions there at the school. But this is where the community itself needs to play its part to make sure that we work together to prevent young people from going to those establishments, particularly during school hours. But what we have seen schools do these days is that they go to school even on Saturday and Sunday, which means they are reducing the time for idling for young people. So you wouldn't have the time to go to the tavern if you know that you're supposed to be in school in full uniform on a Saturday and on a Sunday. In fact, yesterday, you might have seen our Director General, who was in the Northwest, where he has been visiting Saturday classes. He's done that in KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and other provinces where he's visiting. So we are seeing schooling happening even over the weekend. And this is helping somewhat, but education alone is not in a position to resolve these types of matters. We need members of the community to communicate with the owners of these taverns, to be considerate when it comes to the work that they do or the businesses that they conduct near schools, because sometimes you find that even young people who are underage in school uniform are allowed to walk in there and buy liquor and consume it even school hours. And then when they go back to school, they cause disruption, something that we don't want to see. So we will need a fully functional partnership between the communities where these establishments are located and also where the schools are located.
Absolutely. So I see you're saying that DG has been to other provinces, so I believe these interventions are expanded across many provinces. Let's talk about the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative. There are contracts for some assistance that are coming to an end at the end of this month, but I believe there's an extension. Can you just elaborate on that?
Indeed, yes. Today, earlier on this morning, we issued a media statement to explain what is going to happen. There is a group of some 208,000 young people who have been in our schools from November 2021. Their contracts end now of March. But we are going to phase 3 in April, from the 1st of April until the end of August, with an option for an extension by a month to the end of September. But that will depend on the availability of budget in a province, also the number that they are going to have. But we are going to see that extension. And this time around, we are not going to have a break. We are going to continue straight into April without a break. So provinces are now urged to communicate with the young people who are already in their schools to confirm their contracts. But of course, it's not everyone who's going to continue, because there's a criteria saying that if you are 35 and below, then you qualify. But we know that some of the people who are already in the program now are turning 36 either this month or next month, which means they're going to be excluded. But we also found that there are other people who had been benefiting from the 350 grant, which is there. And through our review of the system, we found that those individuals will no longer qualify, because we said from the start that you shouldn't be earning any money from any other government intervention for you to be able to qualify to be in this program. So in the course of doing work, we found that some people started benefiting halfway into this program. So those people, we are going to ask them they're going to be excused from the program so that they continue to benefit elsewhere. But we are also grateful that a good number of our young people who joined the program when it started, even from phase 1 and 2. They've now been able to leave the program because they've got other opportunities of employment, or some have started their own small businesses, which is something that we appreciate a lot, because that was the original objective of this initiative, to keep young people busy, give them an honest income, but also utilize the skills from the training programs that we have so that they are able to continue with their lives and do other things after they've exited the program.
All right, Elijah Mhlanga, the spokesperson of the National Education Department, Basic Education Department, thank you very much for your time.